Picture this. The year is 2075. You're standing on what used to be Times Square. But you're not on solid ground anymore. Beneath your feet, a transparent platform reveals the East River flowing 50 feet below. Welcome to the new New York, a city that refused to sink by learning to swim. For centuries, New York City has been the ultimate symbol of human ambition. From the first Dutch settlers to the construction of the Empire State Building, this metropolis has always reached higher, pushed further, and dreamed bigger. But now, it faces its greatest challenge yet. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, a population pushing beyond 12 million souls. The transformation didn't happen overnight. It began in the 2030s, when hurricane season became a year-round threat. Storm barriers that once seemed sufficient were breached repeatedly. By 2040, city planners faced an impossible choice: abandon the coast or reimagine everything. They chose revolution. The Manhattan Elevation Project began in 2042. Engineers didn't just build walls around the island. They did something far more audacious. They began raising entire neighborhoods on massive hydraulic platforms. Think of it as urban archaeology in reverse. The ground floor became the second floor. Streets that once saw taxis now channel water through carefully designed canals. Lower Manhattan transformed first. The financial district, with its concentration of wealth and political power, pioneered the floating infrastructure. By 2055, the Statue of Liberty stood not on an island, but as the centerpiece of a massive floating platform that serves as both tourist destination and tidal energy generator. The Brooklyn Bridge? Still there. But now it connects two levels of the city. Traditional vehicles use the lower span, while the upper level carries high-speed magnetic trains. By 2075, over 40% of Manhattan's infrastructure operates on or underwater. Floating parks drift along the Hudson, their positions changing with the seasons. Underwater tunnels, constructed with transparent aluminum, let pedestrians walk beneath the river while fish swim overhead. The Freedom Tower, renamed the Climate Spire, stands as the world's first carbon-negative skyscraper. Its outer shell consists of bioengineered algae panels that absorb carbon dioxide. Across Manhattan, hundreds of structures now feature living walls. Vertical farms cascade down the sides of former office buildings, producing enough fresh vegetables to feed 200,000 residents daily. The most striking architectural innovation? Kinetic structures. Major towers in Midtown can actually rotate their upper floors to optimize sun exposure and wind resistance. During severe weather, entire sections of the skyline reconfigure themselves, presenting minimal surface area to hurricane-force winds. It's like watching a city breathe and flex. Hudson Yards 2, completed in 2071, represents the pinnacle of adaptive architecture. The building is modular. Each floor operates as an independent unit that can be added, removed, or replaced. The residential units themselves would seem like science fiction. Walls made of smart glass adjust transparency. Interior walls reconfigure themselves, furniture rising from floor panels. Every apartment features atmospheric water generators, pulling drinking water directly from humidity. In a city surrounded by seawater, this innovation solved the freshwater crisis. Central Park didn't just survive. It tripled in size. The Great Green Expansion project transformed abandoned lots and streets into interconnected green spaces. Trees that would take decades to mature were grown in accelerated growth facilities, then transplanted fully grown. A city that looks ancient and futuristic simultaneously. You can walk from the Bronx to Battery Park almost entirely through parks and elevated gardens, where century-old oaks shade holographic bus stops. Personal vehicles? Banned from Manhattan entirely since 2062. The last gas-powered car was ceremonially retired to the Transportation Museum. Instead, the city operates on a three-tier mobility system. Tier 1, the tube network. Magnetic levitation pods travel through vacuum tubes at 400 miles per hour. Each pod holds 8 passengers and operates on demand. You summon a pod with your neural interface, and it arrives within 90 seconds. Tier 2, aerial transit. Autonomous aerial trams crisscross the sky on predetermined routes. Sleek, silent drones large enough to carry 50 passengers. Tier 3, water transit. Hundreds of aquatic buses, sleek hydrofoil vessels, glide across rivers at 60 miles per hour. The real innovation? Submarine commuting. 3 major subsurface transit lines run beneath the rivers. Transparent passenger compartments let commuters watch marine life during their journey. For those who prefer their own pace, protected skypaths, elevated bike lanes with climate control, stretch across the city. You can cycle from Queens to New Jersey without ever touching ground level or encountering a car. The average commute time is 18 minutes. A city of 12 million requires enormous energy. The answer is everywhere. Almost every surface generates power. Transparent solar windows cover every building. The city essentially wrapped itself in an invisible power plant. Then there's tidal energy. Underwater turbines installed throughout the harbor generate power from every tide change. The Verrazano Narrows now host the world's largest tidal power array. Massive underwater turbines, each the size of a building, provide 23% of the city's energy needs. Kinetic energy capture. Those rotating buildings? Every movement generates electricity. The subway system converts footsteps into power. Even sidewalks feature piezoelectric panels. During storms, the city actually increases power generation through atmospheric electricity harvesting using tall, conducting towers. Lightning strikes now represent free energy. New York achieved 120% energy independence, generating more power than it uses and selling surplus to neighboring cities. The waste problem? Solved through molecular recycling facilities that break down garbage to atomic components, then reassemble atoms into construction materials. New York's last traditional landfill closed in 2059. The site is now a thriving wetland habitat, home to species that disappeared for over a century. Everything transforms into something else. The phrase throwing something away became meaningless in this circular economy. What about the people? Meet Sarah Chun, a 32-year-old architect living in the floating gardens of Brooklyn. Her apartment literally floats on the East River. Her morning routine includes checking air quality, always excellent thanks to green infrastructure. Breakfast comes from her apartment's vertical garden. Sarah commutes via tube network, 7 minutes from door to door. Her workspace operates on hot desking, where employees reserve workspace as needed. Despite advanced technology, New York didn't become remote work city. Office buildings dedicate 50% of space to collaboration areas, lounges, and social zones. Lunch happens at a rooftop restaurant that rotates slowly, providing constantly changing views of the skyline. A fusion of global cuisines representing 230 languages spoken. Afternoon client meeting in holographic conference room. The client is physically in Tokyo, but appears as realistic three-dimensional projection. After work, Sarah meets friends at Floating Park for aerial yoga. Suspended platforms above Hudson River, practicing while drifting with current. Evening entertainment? Broadway expanded to include underwater theaters with transparent domes, where audiences watch performances while marine life swims overhead. Dinner delivered by drone within 15 minutes. Sarah ends her day watching sunset paint colors across skyroads where aerial vehicles trace light patterns. This transformation didn't happen smoothly. The Manhattan Elevation Project alone consumed $6 trillion over 20 years. Today, 3 corporations own significant infrastructure portions. Critics argue this created two-tier city, where wealthy enjoy premium services, while lower-income residents face restrictions. Gentrification reached new extremes. As neighborhoods transformed, many longtime residents couldn't afford to stay. Cultural communities that existed for generations dispersed. Privacy concerns escalated. Neural interfaces track users constantly. In 2069, Great Data Leak exposed information of 4 million New Yorkers. Environmental purists criticize interventions. Did humans have right to so dramatically alter coastlines and ecosystems? Underwater construction displaced marine habitats. Yet defenders point to measurable improvements. Air quality perfected. Water cleaner than 2 centuries. Species returning after decades of absence. The truth? Every solution creates new problems. Every innovation brings challenges. New York is magnificent and flawed, just like every era before it. What does this mean for us? New York City 2075 shows the future isn't something that happens to us. It's something we create through choices made today. The floating metropolis didn't appear overnight. It began with decisions in city councils and planning boards in the 2020s and 30s, with investments that seemed extravagant but proved essential. Every crisis is an opportunity in disguise. Rising seas threatened destruction. Instead, they forced innovation more dramatic than since the Industrial Revolution. New York transformed because it had to, but it thrived because people chose ambition over retreat, imagination over despair. What can we learn? That cities are more adaptable than we think. That technology should serve human needs. That sustainability isn't sacrifice, but intelligent design. The floating metropolis stands as testament to human resilience, to our ability to face impossible challenges and respond with solutions that seemed like fantasy. This is New York City 2075, a city that refused to sink, a city that learned to swim. The question is, will you build the future you want to see?